do your due diligence and kick the tires, as we were discussing. So you need to know what you're buying. Do not take someone's word for it. A very zealous seller or broker is going to really want to, they want that commission and they want to sell. You need to know what you're buying, and you can't rely on photos. I would always recommend that you have your own contractor licensed, who really knows what they're doing and understands what a condition of a property is, who's going to pull permits, make sure these things are done correctly.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm speaking with Hillary Johns, who's making some serious moves in her career for the last 30 years. Hillary, welcome in. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Micah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Glad for you to be here. I'm excited for folks to listen in. You've been a real estate attorney for quite some time now, which provides a tremendous perspective on our industry and what's going on. So for folks who aren't familiar with you yet, tell us a little more about yourself and what your main focus is right now.
Well, I'm a trial attorney, but we also handle transactional matters. So we have offices in Southern California, Northern California, and New York. We also do business in Montana and the District of Columbia. And we are the people you bring in when there's a problem or you want to prevent one. So the phrase "speak softly and carry a big stick" does apply to trial attorneys, because once you have one, they know you're serious. We deal with insurance companies, brokerage houses, investors, real estate companies, and individuals. And
Well,
it's
what led you there? What got you into that field?
I really liked real estate law. I really liked the business aspect of it. I liked the personal aspect of it, because even if you're not living in a property you buy, it is personal, because it's either your business or how you're doing that. And I think, we live in such a great country. And, one of the amazing things about it is how much land we have and how unique it is and how diverse it is. Like, I know we were talking about just before the show that there are different parts of Florida and there are different parts of California and how different they can be. Like if you're going to our coast, either of our coastlines, as opposed to being up in the mountains or the trees, or up further north, but yours closer to Georgia, ours closer to Oregon, how different this country can be. And what a sense of pride it is for people to be able to own a home or to invest in properties and to make those properties work. And I just found that it's ever changing. It's very interesting. It's personal on a certain level. And I think it's done a lot for a lot of people, but that is the American dream, right? Go and get your plot of land or your plots of land, and that's what you're going to be doing with your life. And I like being able to be a part of that and to assist them navigating that process. As we were talking about, there are a lot of things that people, if they knew beforehand, can keep you out of trouble, or you can avoid some heartache too. I think there are a lot of good opportunities for investing. I see them all the time, and every time I'm looking at listings and things like that. And that's what's great about it. But I think it's there's been a lot of evolution in this area. A lot.
Right. Well, you live on the side that typically sees the worst happening. So what is it that you could share? Like what should you, give us about a few things that, hey, you got to think about this before you're buying a property? Like what are some points that folks can at least try to hedge their bets a little better up front?
Okay.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Do your due diligence and kick the tires, as we were discussing. So you need to know what you're buying. Do not take someone's word for it. A very zealous seller or broker is going to really want to, they want that commission and they want to sell. You need to know what you're buying, and you can't rely on photos. I would always recommend that you have your own contractor licensed, who really knows what they're doing and understands what a condition of a property is, who's going to pull permits, make sure these things are done correctly. I also recommend when you buy a property, you go see it. There are so many things being sold online these days, and people buy it and based on these beautiful photos and that are all staged, or you're showing the best aspect of yourself. And, we see this online every day, right? People are AIing
Right.
I know we're not AI, but people are AIing themselves and they look fantastic. And you need to really know what you're buying. And that means not making an emotionally based decision. This is a business decision. And as we have discussed, one of the biggest mistakes people can make is falling in love with a house.
Right.
Saying, I've got to have it here because there's all, or making, financial decision mistakes are often made emotionally. Most financial decisions are emotionally based. They have nothing to do with, the people who are extremely successful. They've probably taken most of the emotion out of it, but everybody has their motivating factor here. You need
Right.
to make sure that you really know what you're buying. If you don't know what you're buying, you could be setting yourself up. Is it a fixer? That's a very romantic notion. I bought a cheap fixer and it turns out to be a money pit.
Right.
I bought a commercial space, but there's gang and drug activity at night here. So I have to put up, that happened in San Francisco, of course, where they had all these people who had stores for years and were leasing and buying. And it was their dream to have this little space. And then they realized, it's getting broken into all the time.
Right.
Have you seen, tasted, and smelled it? As we were talking about, it's very different to be on seeing a video or to be there in person. Have you looked around? Have you done your due diligence? Have there been lawsuits? Who is the seller? Do you
Right.
know these? You usually don't know these people. And you would be amazed at how much a seller is more than happy to dump off a piece of junk on somebody else, saying, "Oh, I forgot to tell you about the mold," or, "Oh, the
Right.
electrical works fine, but it's all going to have to be replaced in the next 3 years because it's so outdated, it's not up to code, and it's a fire hazard." They're more than happy to take your money for that and get a few extra $100,000 or whatever it is, even more. I mean, depending on where you are in the U.S., homes are extremely expensive. I mean, there are homes in LA that go for more than $100 million. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think any home is worth that. Okay, it's not a castle, but they do. They do these things. I mean, the only things I
Right.
could see be worth it, it's like if you go to Montana or somewhere like that where you're buying hundreds of thousands. Okay, then I could see that. But you need to look at those and do your due diligence and don't get a contractor who's reliable and say, I need you to figure out anything that could be wrong with it. I need you to look at the permits, any kind of history on this. Have some due diligence to know what you're looking at. How this is what I want to use this for. Do you see any problems? Because the seller's not going to tell you that. They're just going to say, easements and things like that. Are there issues with neighbors? This is a big one. This has become to the forefront. 20 years ago, this was not the case. You had a bad neighbor, so what? Get over it, suck it up. Don't be an asshole. Excuse my language. I hope we can say that on
Right.
things. But
No,
it's
you're
like
good.
maybe you're the problem here. But it's not. Bad neighbors bring down property values. They cause litigation. They cause property damage, and they put you at risk. I mean, bad neighbors can be very dangerous. I mean, a lot of states
Right.
freely carry guns, use drugs, rent out their properties to what I would say are very undesirable people. They don't know that. What if they run out to some drug dealer and he's just got people running in and out of there at all hours? Would you feel safe with your baby, in the crib there, or your little kids going out, and playing in the yard? I wouldn't.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So these are
Right.
things that you need to know, and you often have to ask the right questions, but you need to ask them, is there criminal activity in the area? Just because someone's not arrested does not mean that there's not criminal activity. Are there
Right.
issues with your neighbors? Do you know them? May I go over and say hello to them? What does your contractor say? Passing inspection it's not the bare minimum. I mean, these people do a good job, but they don't know everything. I mean, they're not going to rip open the walls and say, okay, well, your electrical's here. If you have a rodent infestation, how much
Right.
work have you had done on this? How long have you owned this property? Because we're getting they've started to come down and regulate flips, because this was a very common thing. They'd take it, they'd see those very showy things on TV. Oh, I can flip a house. And then they don't really do the work that's necessary. So the bones aren't okay. And
Right.
so, and people,
Exactly.
and they look at this and this is a rickety thing that probably should have been a tear down, because it's probably cheaper. And they put it back together and they sold it probably for a pretty penny, your penny. And it won't just be
Right.
pennies big. And so you need to be aware of these. And here's the unfortunate reality. People get into these, they sign something called which has an arbitration clause, not
Ooh.
realizing that when they go to arbitration, it can be a very efficient way to have something resolved. It can also be a very expensive way to do it. For example, and if you're paying an arbitrator in the state of California and New York, you're probably paying $500 to $800 an hour. So imagine going
Wow.
to trial. So 8 hours a day,
Right.
4,000. That's at 500, which is a low rate in the state, and you're paying $4,000 a day for a 2-week trial. 1 week is $20,000. 2 weeks is 40. You're splitting that, and you're paying your lawyer. In addition, in some states, including California, if you go to arbitration, you have limited rights of appeal. So unless the arbitrator is showing clear favoritism, like, oh yeah, by the way, the broker's a friend of mine and I'm never going to find them guilty, you have very limited rights, for objecting to evidence and getting things in. Often cases turn on, did you improperly disallow this evidence? Did you not let that in? Or did you not let this person testify? You're sort of at the mercy of the arbitrator. And I'm not saying I have friends who are arbitrators. They're very, very good. But that's how this works. And people sign these things with like a dispute resolution. The other hammer, I would also say, when you're signing an agreement, you need to look and see if there's an attorney's fees clause. And I recommend, and the reason I do is because if you win as a consumer or a private investor, and I consider private investors consumers because
Okay.
they're out in the market doing that. If you look at that provision, it does not have an attorney's fees provision. You could also hear the defense, which I abuse, saying the cost to litigate this is more than your case is worth. So you're going to wind up paying your lawyer because you're going to have to, and maybe you'll win from me, but we're both going to pay our lawyers and you're not going to get much. Make sure and think seriously. This is where you need a lawyer to help you review these and say, I want attorney's fees and cost provision so your experts can be covered, your jury fees can be covered. Are you going to, any other costs, deposition costs? Those are expensive. A deposition in the state of California usually runs $2,000 to $10,000 a pop, depending on how long it is.
Wow.
The attorney's time, the cost of a court reporter who do excellent jobs. Do not use AI, use a court reporter, a real certified court reporter. These are not cheap, and people don't know that. Most people don't know that. They've never ever been involved. And so they look at it, and I've had this unfortunate situation with so many people who probably have been wronged, and they realize how much it's going to cost to pay me or someone like me to litigate this. And a person who does something wrong, they know that. This is a very they're going to this this is why insurance companies who are not in the business of paying out will often pay out on a claim because it's cheaper than litigating, unless they're trying to make an example of someone. And most
Right.
people know that. And so when they look at these things, where is your case going to be tried?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
It's not necessarily to the advantage of a Californian me to have a case tried in Florida where you are for a dispute over something that happened in California. You have to look at that clause in the agreement. And most people sign these, they're long agreements. Some of them are forms, like California has a CAR form. Lots of other states have a form. They don't know what they mean. They just like, okay, initial here, sign here. What's this? Where's my
And it's
deposit?
just thrown in the paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, just sign this. And, you can't blame the brokers or the agents. They're doing their jobs. It's not their job to do that. And also remember, if a broker tells you something and it's not in the agreement, that's not a material representation necessarily. This happens a lot
Mm.
in insurance too. I see this where they said, "Oh, I talked to my broker. They said I'm covered." I go, Is it in the thing here? Where does it say that?" And it's not. And, so the person, here's the reality. This is what you signed. This is what you have. Keep your paperwork. I know in Montana, for example, if you don't have your endorsements, it's not part of the policy. You need to read these things. And if you don't understand it, get a lawyer to help you understand it. We frequently consult people saying, what does this mean? And I didn't know what this meant. I go, do you understand this? What it means? And again, you hope everything works out. Most of the time it does. But
Right.
it's becoming more and more often as private people are getting into the market. Real estate investing used to only be for the very, very wealthy. Now a lot of people can, which is a great opportunity for people to grow wealth, to expand their portfolios, to get into a market they want to do. Maybe it's another career for them, selling and
Right.
maintaining properties and all that goes with it. But you need to know that these are real risks for you. And, I also want to say, I think people fall into the panic like, well, I'm such and such age. I have kids, whatever it is. I should own a house now. I should be a millionaire by now. Why don't I have, and sure, at some point you may start to get concerned, but as we've seen now, people are living a lot longer. People have second in careers. There can be life circumstances like a divorce, a death in the family, and maybe they've had a bankruptcy. It doesn't mean they can't revive their careers and things like that, but the traditional
Right.
time frame does not apply anymore. Where if you had,
No.
it doesn't at all. Like I
No.
see,
Script has been flipped now. Like anybody that's if you're using that, it's going to come to a point where it's an excuse and it's either holding you back forever or you're going to overcome it because that's what it really requires. You have to actually believe something new. Are you willing to, if you're out there telling yourself, I can't, and this ain't for me and all that, that's just the story you believe. The requirement, will you believe the opposite? And if you will, life opens the doors, everything becomes possible as long as you keep becoming the person who can do it. That's what I learned from successful people. You're not a byproduct of hope. Like that wasn't your strategy to get where you are. You just ran a process over and over and over again, adjusted as you went along the way, learned new information, added new information. Like that's what you're doing. And that anybody can start that at any time. And that's what I want for folks is just get started and keep doing the little things each day, even just like what you're talking about here when it comes to a deal. I mean, to be a professional investor, you check the little things. You got to inspect what you expect. Because if you don't, that's where it's those details that bite us in the rear end, right? The one you thought you could just, oh, this will be fine. Nope. You rip that wall open and all you find is an extra 100 grand you didn't think you were spending, right? Those are the things when we try to cut those edges. So Hillary, thank you for sharing that today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show. For those that are listening in that, they're in the areas that you work, that want to learn more about you, possibly book an appointment, what's the best way for them to find you?
The best way to reach me is in my phone number, 310-492-4009. If you mention that you saw me on Micah's podcast, there's no charge for the consult. We also have a website, which is hillarytriallawyers.com. And if it's something that's not in our area, we may know someone in another area. I do have a pretty expansive network of other attorneys that we refer to. And, sometimes it's just knowing where to start and who to call. So we want to be that
Right.
person you call as a resource just for information and things like that.
Love that. Thanks for sharing. If you're listening and watching and in, check our show notes. You'll find all Hillary's contact info there, her website. Reach out to her, touch base with her. Make sure that you're kicking those tires, understanding what you need to understand to be successful at what it is you're doing. Again, Hillary, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, everybody out there, for being with us. If you got value out of today's episode, please like this episode, share it with someone else you think you get value out of it. And if you're not a subscriber yet, you know what to do. Click that button, follow along with us here. We appreciate every single one of you that do. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Hillary, folks out there building a real business in the industry. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.